Hello, my name is Collection Connoisseur. I collect digital thingamabombs in video games. Today I'm playing Monster Train. At this point in my playthrough of Monster Train, there's only one thing left to do in my goals, which is Divinity Master the last 4 cards that I have not yet Divinity Mastered. So that's what we're going to focus on. For that reason, we're going to do a standard run, no expert challenge, and we're going to focus on the clan combinations that maximize the chance that we'll be able to master one of those cards. 2 of those cards are Wurmkin, one of them is Hellhorned, and one of them is a Cavern Event card. Which means Hellhorned Wurmkin, I have a chance to master any one of the 4. Also, the fact that they're already selected, and this win streak says 0, is because I've lost this actually a couple times. I've lost this a couple times so far attempting it. But still, let's try again. And then also the reason that the Shardtail Queen is selected with Hellhorned Wurmkin is because I don't have the crown for her. So I'm hoping to get another one of the crowns as well in my logbook, even though I'm not going for all 60. Now, the smart thing to do would be to crank this down to Covenant rank 1, so that I have an almost certain chance to win, but I don't want to do that. I like Covenant rank 25, so I'm going to continue to try to master the cards on rank 25. Let's go. I do like to see Vent. I don't know how I feel about Hosting Kin, and then Inflame can be good or terrible just depending on what we get. Seraph the Patient I don't mind seeing. The melee weakness is definitely the worst part about it. And let's go. So, champion first. The Imp Parade is definitely what we want. Yeah. Get lots of imps. Oh, these are both really good, depending on what happens. Darn, I don't know what's gonna happen, though. The Carving Koriska doesn't do anything for us yet, but it could be amazing. It makes certain things much easier to take. The Resonant Shard could be absolutely amazing, depending on what Hellhorned units we get. I'm gonna go with what I think is maybe the more likely one to affect us, which is Resonant Shard. We're gonna have Rage Imps, at least. So, take Resonant Shard. Eventually. Mark of Invasion, let's go. We've got Vents in the deck, by the way, so this is much less of a problem than it may normally have been. There's one of those Vents right there. So we're going to play the Shardtail Queen at the top. In fact, if we play a Train Steward at the top, and then a Shardtail Queen, and we just kill one of these with a Hosting Kin. Oh. Then they make it to the fire. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to kill one of them with a Hosting Kin, we're going to kill one of them with a Fracture, we're going to kill all of these with a Vent. Alright. The Collector. We have to fracture the Collector. Alright, that was the only thing I felt like we absolutely needed to do. If we play a Queen's Impling and a Train Steward in the center, then the Train Steward survives. If we play Inflame on our champion is a lot better. We do have a lot of things to defeat enemies at the top. So I think I'm going to play the Inflame, because I like my champion being better. And if these get to the top, they only deal 1 damage to the fire, which is pretty insignificant. One of them, if I play one more up here, and a Fracture, then the 2 Imps die, and both of the enemies die. And then we're We're not guaranteed to get Vent, but we have a pretty high chance to get Vent next turn. We did get Vent. Alright, so what does that mean that we're doing? I want to... If we play the Vent at the top, then it kills all of those. If we play the Queen's Implings at the bottom, they cost more. So what do we do? If we play 2 Queen's Implings at the top, then only one of these 2 clergymen die. So I'm not going to play 2 Queen's Implings, so I'm going to play the Vent at the top, which means we're going to play things elsewhere. Let's play a Queen's Impling. Another Queen's Impling? Better than playing a Train Steward. A Hosting Kin on the boss. And a Vent at the top. Alright, I'm trying not to get Ember Drain, because I really don't want the Ember Drain. So, Fracture on the boss is probably the best thing that we can really do. So I'm just going to Fracture the boss. Alright. Now we definitely have Queen's Implings. We've got a Vent as well. So, what if we play the Inflame first, and then we play a Vent, and then we play Queen's Implings? I mean, we've already won, but that was my plan for the turn. Fledgling Imp, huzzah, with the Resonant Shard. And it's infused. Great. I do tend to like infused Bounding Echoes. And I don't know if we want the other ones. I didn't take Carving Korska, so this is not nearly as good as it would have been. Take the Bounding Echoes. And then, I should go to the left. The reason I should go to the left is because there's 1 Hellhorned unit to master, and there's 2 Wurmkin units to master. We're trying to maximize the chance that we see something that we could Divinity Master. The Merchant of Magic has a Stack Stone. I mean, it goes well on Inflame, except that makes the Inflame cost so much. Extreme Stone goes on Vent rather easily. We could put an Extreme Stone on a Vent. I do like that. Wurmkin unit. Alright, neither of those are something that we could master right now. Neither of them are really great for sacrificing either. So I'm very tempted to skip, actually. The First of Kin just costs so much, is the thing. Like, it's got a nice starting body of 30-55, but I don't really like Etch that much. We have Hosting Kins and Bounding Echoes. The Bounding Echoes we could do the Etch, but other things we can't. I don't know. Maybe we take First of Kin. I'll take it. I don't feel great about that choice, but I think you do need to start with a unit, kind of. So we are going to do the Extreme Stone on a Vent. I'm going to do a Purge Stone, because I think having a smaller deck is going to be really important. And I don't think that the fractures are going to matter too much to us. We're not doing an Engage Pact yet. So the Stack Stone on the Inflame. It does double its effect, but it makes it cost 3. Do we do that, or do we save our money? Or something more impactful that we might want to get? I'm just going to purge a Train Steward. We're starting on our purges early. I guess we could Emberstone something. If we're going to keep a Fracture, we might as well Emberstone it. But are we going to keep a Fracture? I don't know. We could Emberstone the Inflame. I would rather do that on the Inflame. Make it cost half as much, not do twice as much. Surge Stone we don't want. Alright, let's go. Spikes 3. Pretty bad with the champion. It's pretty bad with the champion, but the vents still work just fine. And the First of Kin is probably fine. I'm going to turn it on. Now, let's see if we can take as few Sinner's Burdens as possible. So, do we put the Shardtail Queen in the center, the bottom, or the top? The First of Kin, it feels like it should go at the top, because it's the one that's probably going to survive. So let's play that one at the top. It gives me Ember Drain, which is sad, and it costs 3 to play, and that means that we can't fracture this one. It's so bad. But that's what happens when you have a minion that costs 3 to play. Alright, so the Shardtail Queen is going to go in the center. If it goes at the bottom, it just takes too much damage too fast. And we won't play the Queen's Impling this turn. So we're going to get Sinner's Burdens kind of a lot. We can play Bounding Echoes up here. At least that gives you 5 attack. Do we play the Hosting Kin on this one, or the Collector? If we think we're just going to win this battle, we should play it on this one. Alright. Or no, I mean the Collector. I think we're going to win this battle, so I'm not going to worry about playing it on something else. Let's play the Sinner's Burden, of course. Do we want to play that down here so we've got 1 Echo down here? I think so. And then Queen's Impling in the center. Two Sinner's Burdens. Fracture kills you. Let's do that. Let's play Queen's Impling. This is short enough that I don't think playing a Sinner's Burden is worthwhile anymore, since we already shuffled our draw pile. Or shuffled our discard pile. And then if we fracture you, you die. Which means your attack will go against the Forged Disciple. If we fracture you, you don't die. So I think I'm going to do this. And then we play Sinner's Burden. Alright. We need our vents. Especially the big vent. Alright, we got a small vent. A small vent takes out the back 2 down there, which is fine. A fracture up here will do damage to you, but not enough. Well, that's annoying. Let's think about what we could do at the top. So I could play 2 Queen's Implings at the top. If we played 2 Queen's Implings, this one would die. And then we'd still not kill that one. Unless we play the Queen's Implings in the back and we play the Fracture up here. Okay, you know, that's actually a way. Play both Queen's Implings in the back, and then play the Fracture, and you barely die. And then we play the Vent at the bottom so we don't get any more Sinner's Burdens. Okay, so we've got a Fledgling Imp to play. We've got Hosting Kin, which we play here, definitely. We've got a Fracture we play here, definitely. We play Queen's Implings here, and the Fledgling Imp at the top. because you're going to get more out of your rage. Fledgling Imp up here, Queen Zimplings here, and then we have no space to play the Train Steward. Okay, I think we win at the top. We do. Great. Click and turn and win. Another Fledgling Imp or a Welder Helper? I kind of think we want at least one Welder Helper, and it's infused, which is nice. As much as the Fledgling Imps are good, our champion upgrades will give us Fledgling Imps. Let's take the Welder Helper. We could play Echo Snare to have another consume card. That sometimes is a good thing. I don't think we do that. I think we just skip. Now, we're going to go to the right, partially because we want another unit, and partially because this is a unit that could be something we could master. It has a chance. Immortal Stone. I mean, I like playing that on Imps sometimes. Heartstone and Echo Stone. The Immortal Stone might definitely change what we do here. It doesn't. We could take the Demon Fiend because it's a good thing to sacrifice. The Steelworker is also kind of a good thing to sacrifice. I'm going to take a Steelworker. And what do we do with an Immortal Stone? We could put it on this Fledgling Imp. Or the Welder Helper. Having a Fledgling Imp with infused with an Immortal Stone might be worth it. Let's go to the Concealed Caverns next. Maybe we'll get something out of here that will give me a better chance for deciding what to do. So we could get Petrified Heart. Do we have any way to heal? I don't think there's any way to heal in Hellhorned. Well, there's one way to heal. There's the one that swaps your attack and health that heals you. There's not many other ways to heal. And Wurmkin I also don't think really has much in terms of healing. So I think Petrified Heart is good for us. And then... Oh, summon abilities triggered an additional time. Alright, Imp deck activate. Now that we have that, I more want to add an Immortal Stone to this Fledgling Imp. Do we add a Heartstone to something? If we're keeping the Steelworker, we might want it. Maybe we add it to the Welder Helper. How about a very healthy Welder Helper? I'll do that. Very healthy Welder Helper. It seems weird to do. And then I'm not going to re-roll, am I? I mean, we've got the money to buy another one if I re-roll. It's just that the First of Kin and the Steelworker are not necessarily the units I'm going to keep. So maybe let's not. Okay, well, I hope we find something in the next ring or these battle results that gives me a unit that I want to keep. Friendly units enter with Sap 1. Talos applies Dazed on Strike. Not as bad when we can put Imps in front. Although we can't put Imps in front all the time if the First of Kin is played at the first turn at the top. What if we play the First of Kin in the center this time? And then we could play this Fledgling Imp kind of over and over again in the center with the First of Kin. That means the Shardtail Queen survives longer, we get more imps. I think I'm going to do that, but I don't know if it's great to do. I'm not even going to worry about the rage from the fledgling imp. Oh, but I can't play the fledgling imp first, because then I can't afford the first of kin. Alright, well, we'll play the fledgling imp. We'll play the first of kin in the center. We will play a vent at the bottom. Okay. Now we need the first of kin to not die with all the damage, because it can't be healed or anything. The Steelworker could go at the top. This Fledgling Imp is going to go here. Fledgling Imp goes here. We could play the Steelworker at the top, or we could play a Fracture. Let's play a Steelworker at the top. You're going to constantly heal up my guys. Alright. Now, ooh, we do have the Welder Helper. If we put that in the center... If we put that in the center, you're not going to take damage for a long time. If ever. That means our Fledgling Imp doesn't constantly die. I'd rather have the Fledgling Imp constantly die, I think. Which I think means that the Welder Helper stays in the deck and we draw it later. I think we can allow you two to get to the top because we're going to get a Queen's Impling that we can just play to kill one. So let's Hosting Kin. Let's play the Queen's Impling at the bottom. Or just a Fracture, actually. Let's play a Fracture on the boss. You're annoying. I don't want to move you to the back, because I want you to die. So I think we just Hosting Kin the boss again. Alright, we hit the boss because there wasn't a reason to hit something else. The Queen's Implings don't die at the top. That's an interesting thing. Oh, they do die because Talos the Architect came up here. Great. So we can add a Queen's Impling at the top. Oh, right! Ashes of the Fallen. Forgot about that. Alright. The Queen's Impling doesn't die. And we get Ember Drain. How sad. We should play a Fracture here. We should play a Fledgling Imp here. And then a Queen's Impling at the bottom, or a Train Steward at the bottom. Let's play a Queen's Impling. Kills 2. Man, I forgot about Ashes of the Fallen already. Ashes of the Fallen is really nice. Bounding Echoes at least gives you an etch. And then currently it's kind of sad because this one kills the imp and hits this, and then Talos the Architect hits you, and then you have Dazed. But I can't really change that except with a vent. Which also doesn't change it because we don't have enough Ember for the vent to do that. So we're just going to play the vent at the bottom. What does that mean that we do otherwise? I think that means that we play a Fracture on the boss. And we play a vent at the bottom. And we just take the damage on our big guy. Granted, as big as our guy is, our champion is doing quite nice now, too. So, do we play the Fledgling Imp in the center again? I think we do. You're still not dying. Oh my gosh. Did not realize that Queen's Impling would survive so long. We could kill it. We might kill it next turn, intentionally. Because we want to play more imps. So, Fledgling Imp in the center, yes. Queen's Implings at the bottom, Hosting Kin at the bottom, of course. Alright. So the Queen's Implings, are they going to attack the boss at all? Or does the boss kill them? Oh yes, we got 2 hits in with the Queen's Impling. Alright. Now, we have fractures. A fracture could... Oh, it can't kill you. You just gained too much. Oh, but we're already winning in the center. Alright. Click on turn and win. Our imps don't die. Aw, darn. We didn't get one of the rare cards we could master. Do we want any of these? I mean, I really like Perfect Insanity, and we don't have a way to get rid of our echoes right now. The Eternal Kinstone would be great if we use the echoes, which we currently don't. I'm going to take the Perfect Insanity. Still nothing to master here. I just don't want those, right? Yeah, I don't want them. I don't even want to sacrifice them. Skip. And Herzl's Compound is usually the correct answer here. I guess I'll treat it as the correct answer again. But we might change our mind next time. Alright, we're going to go to the right in hopes to get a unit to master. Please get a unit to master. I guess we're going to go there first. We did not get a unit to master. I think we might no longer have a chance, actually. And I don't want these units either. Right? I mean, we've got to do something in terms of the sacrifice, right? If we want to sacrifice something, we've got to sacrifice it sometime. But I don't want to make any of my units bigger. I don't really care about bog flies. I'll take the Shard Cell Carver because at least it has the Inspire effect. Upgrade the champion. Add a Fledgling Imp to your hand every turn. There we go. And then... I don't know. Right. We know we're going to delete Train Stewards. That much is at least something that we know. And then duplicate. Duplicate. We could duplicate the event that's better. We could duplicate the Inflame, which is fine, and we barely ever play it. We could duplicate the Fledgling Imp, but we're going to have Fledgling Imps every turn. Why is there nothing to duplicate? I'm going to duplicate the Welder Helper. Alright, move on. I think that we've lost our chances to Divinity Master something already, too. Let's do the spikes for get a random artifact. So, Vent, if we play it right now, could kill all of those. That's interesting, but I think I'd rather play the Shardtail Queen somewhere. I think we're going to play the Shardtail Queen in the center this time. Which means we're playing the Steelworker at the top. And I might as well play a Welder Helper with my Shardtail Queen. Okay, so we can still play the Vent, and we will, but it doesn't kill them. Yeah. It's better, actually, to play a Fracture on one and then the vent, I think. Even though we did less to the front one. So, if we play a fledgling imp in the center, it's going to do well, and it's going to survive for a little bit. I realize now we can't play the first of kin because it costs so much to play. Alright, you're going to go here. All of those die. First of kin we'd really prefer to play now, but we can't. Do we move you to the back? I don't think moving you to the back is a great plan. Let's just toast and kin this one. And then play a Shard Soul Carver. We could play the Shard Soul Carver at the top, actually. That's something. Let's do that. And then fracture something. Fracture the back one. Alright, we're gonna play this fledgling imp here. You're taking 4 damage because of the spikes. That's expected. We want to play... We could play imps at the bottom now. Because we could play a welder helper in front, which is going to survive for a long time. And then play a fledgling imp. Actually, let's play the fledgling imp in front. Okay, so now we're going to start killing things at the bottom with just imps. Thing at the top dies, no problem. We've got Inflame, which is kind of nice. I think we'll play that on our champion. Play Bounding Echoes. I kind of want to do it here now because it gets the Inspire effect too. So I am. I'm going to play it on you. Alright, now, Imps. We're going to play our Fledgling Imp here. Well, we've got 2 of them. Let's play the Endless one at the bottom. Play this one here. I guess it didn't matter because of the spikes. So, this Fledgling Imp goes here. Actually, let's put it in front. Both of those die. We could have played a Train Steward at the bottom. I'm going to do that now, but I wish I had done it before playing the Fledgling Imp, of course. And then let's hit you. A brief respite. Well, you know, I'm gonna play the Fledgling Imp here so that it dies again. I'm gonna play an Inflame at the top. I'm gonna give you some armor this time. And then Fledgling Imp at the bottom. We're gonna put it behind our guy with all that armor this time. And that's all that we're playing. Great. We have Perfect Insanity. We can't fit enough imps to actually Perfect Insanity down here. How interesting. It's the space that's preventing me from killing the boss with Perfect Insanity this turn. Granted, we kill the boss anyway, with just our imps. Killing the boss with only imps. We got a volatile mage. It'll make the first of kin easier to play. It does draw more cards. I'm gonna take it, but I really don't know if that's a good idea. Impressive is probably a good thing to do. The Pyre Chomper is also potentially a good thing to do. I'm going to take the Pyre Chomper. Don't want these, especially now that we have Volatile Gauge. Okay. Do we have any more chances to master cards this run? I think we've lost all of our chances at this point, which is sad. Sad but true. I don't know if the Concealed Caverns one is still available, but it might be. So we should go left in hopes that the Concealed Caverns one is still available. Because it's one that you get, and then a couple of rings later you get an artifact. Thy Holiest Shield works that way. So it has to come early enough for you to get the later thing. So I don't know how early is early enough. Let's peek in here. Another Extreme Stone could go on another vent. We could play an Engage Pact. Ooh, oh, the Pyre Chomper. we could Engage Pact the Pyre Chomper on the First of Kin. We're not going to do that though, right? No, we're not. What are we going to do with the First of Kin? I mean, it's a lot better now because we got the Volatile Gauge. I don't know. We're going to have to decide what we're doing with the Engage Pact. I probably will take the Purge Stone. Oh, Hell's Banners. Excellent. We simply have to take that one. Alright. That's a good one for us to take. Let's visit the Concealed Caverns. Thy Holiest Shield, please be there. It's not. It's not. But we can take more gold, which is nice, because we could afford another artifact if we want one. We don't really care about Tempered Talisman that much. We don't really care about Boon of the Blacksmith. If I re-roll, there's a good chance I won't be able to afford one that I want. So let's save the money. Extreme Stone on the other vent is very valuable. Engage Pact. So if we're keeping First of Kin, what do we Engage Pact on top of First of Kin? The Steelworker? I don't think we want it to be the Shard Soul Carver, because then it takes up more space, and we need the space to play Imps. And both of these take up 3 space, by the way, which is highly annoying. Well, I don't know what to do with that at all. The only thing that I feel like is valuable to sacrifice is the Steelworker. So I think we're going to sacrifice the Steelworker to somebody. And it could be the First of Kin or the Shard Soul Carver. Both are fine. Let's do the First of Kin. Alright, do we take a Purge Stone as well? I kind of want to, because some of these cards are really not that valuable, especially now that we have, what is it called? The Volatile Gauge. So things like Hosting Kin are particularly bad now. But they consume during the battle, so they're not as bad as a Fracture, I guess. Alright. We've done a lot there. Let's move on. Non-boss enemies get multi-strike. That could be pretty bad. Could be pretty bad. I almost want to turn it on, though. I'm going to turn it on. If this one dies, it's fine, because we're not mastering a card here. So, we did get a vent. we got a Shardtail Queen, which we're going to put in the center again. The Shardtail Carver is going to go at the top. Wait a minute. There's a problem with that. Where does the first of kin go? Does the first of kin go at the bottom? That seems crazy. Alright. Where does the Shardtail Carver go? Could go at the bottom. Seems like that could cause major problems, but we're going to put it at the bottom. Let's play the Shardtail Queen in the center. Let's play... I mean, what of these are useful at all? I guess if we play Imps in front of you that give the Inspire effect, it's useful. Okay, so we're going to play an Imp and an Imp. Oh, the next Imp actually kills them all. Alright, let's play a Fracture first, so that we get another Inspire effect, and then the Imp. Alright. We didn't need the vent. Alright, first of kin goes at the top. That does give us Ember Drain. We could play the Pyre Chomper in the center first. And then the first of kin at the top. Now we've got lots of Ember for this turn. If one of you were already dead, I would play a Welder Helper down here. We're going to play the vent down here, so, I mean, it's not going to bother us too much. Maybe we play the Welder Helper in the center? Sure. Welder Helper in the center. And then kill the Pyre Chomper. Welder Helper in the center, kill the Pyre Chomper. Alright. And then we want to play this Fledgling Imp every turn. We can't play it every turn. We can play it this turn. And then we have so much Ember that we don't get to keep. So let's play Fracture, Fracture. Do we play a Fledgling Imp at the top? I mean, it won't have the Ember Drain this turn. I think we play the Welder Helper at the top, and we play a Fledgling Imp in front at the top. Alright, so every floor has a lot of stuff going on. Inflame costs 0, how nice. So the center is perfectly fine. We don't mind what's happening there. The bottom, we want to play some Imps. Play a couple Imps at the bottom. How about a Queen Zimpling and a Fledgling Imp? Queen Zimpling, Fledgling Imp. There we go. And then we do play the Fracture. We want it to go away. We play the Hosting Kin. Yeah, play the Hosting Kin on you. And then Fracture on one of the back ones. Inflame on anybody that we would want to play Inflame on. I guess that's going to be the top or the center? Let's play it at the top. And then we're done for the turn. At least both Imps are dying, so we can play Imps again. We do actually want our Imps to die, but we want to take them we want them to take a lot of damage before they die. We've got 2 vents, so the bottom is kind of no problem. But we do want to play our Imps. We're going to play the Fledgling Imp here. We're going to play another Fledgling Imp here. Now we've got 4 Ember. I think we'll be fine once we play the vent at the bottom. So until then, what are we doing? Nothing at the top. Nothing in the center, unless we want to fracture those. So I think we just fracture things here. So fracture, fracture. And we're doing this for you, for your Inspire effects. And then we play event. Okay, you're taking 12 damage. It would be nice if you weren't taking that much. Oh, actually, we can prevent that. Right, we had 2 vents. You're not dying. Kind of wish you were. Oh well. We should really play our Fledgling Imp. And there's kind of nothing else that's worth playing except for Bounding Echoes, which would take all of the Ember anyway. So let's just play this Fledgling Imp. We could also play a Fledgling Imp here, I guess. Play a Fledgling Imp here. And then we could play the Bounding Echoes, get it rid out of the deck, and give you the etch. Alright, the sweep here is particularly annoying. We can play Vents twice. Oh, we can play Perfect Insanity as well. How about that? So, we can play Fracture, Fracture, Perfect Insanity, and then we can play a couple of Vents. Alright, and we win at the bottom. I don't know, this is going pretty well. We're getting Sinner's Salve. It's not my favorite, but I'll take it. Don't really want Inferno. Do I want another Pyre Chomper? I'm going to take another one. Oh, we can also take a Reinforce. Reinforce is actually really nice. Yeah, remember that I have Volatile Gauge, by the way. Reinforce. And then we don't want these. So, I think we're going to go toward the Unstable Vortex instead of the Merchant of Magic. And what do we have in the Divine Temple? Twin Stone? We could Twin Stone a Vent. I like that. And then we could Purge Stone something. Don't know what we're doing with Engage Pact. If anything. Probably nothing. Alright. Let's probably get the Twin Stone and the Purge Stone, but we're definitely going to go to the Concealed Caverns first. Ooh, throw something in. I will gladly throw in a Train Steward. Alright. Oh man. This is a random card. Could it be a unit? Or is it no longer allowed to be a unit? It's probably no longer allowed to be a unit, but let's go for Hellhorned. You know, we're going to take it, especially because it's not going to cost anywhere close to 5. But I don't know if I like the Fragile that much. What unit do we put Fragile on? I don't know. Now, duplicate Divine Temple and Unstable Vortex. Unstable Vortex. I don't want to remove the Bounding Echoes. I do want to remove the Host Pins and more Fractures. I'm going to focus on removing things that don't have Consume on them, which are going to be the Fractures and eventually Queen's Implings. But let's get rid of Fractures first. And then... what do we duplicate? Honestly, what do we duplicate? We could duplicate a vent after we put the twin stone on it. Alright, let's do that. So we're going to put a twin stone on a vent. And then we're going to play a purge stone on a fracture. Alright, we're getting rid of all of our fractures. And then we're not doing Engage Pact. We are going to duplicate this vent. Alright, we've got a lot of pack shards. What are we doing with those? I don't know. So we've got Looming and Shattering. The Shattering is kind of a problem, isn't it? Because our imps want to die, typically. Now, the Pyre Chopper gives us more Ember than it takes to play. So we're probably going to play that. I liked what we did before, in terms of where we put our units. That is annoying because of the Looming Dark Shard down here, where we want to play the vent. Okay, let's play the Shardtail Queen here. Let's play the Pyre Chopper here. Alright, now we've got lots of Ember. We can't play Perfect Insanity this turn. I don't want to make it cost more. Do we just not play the vent? Maybe. What do we play at the top? I'm going to play the First of Kin at the top. I'm not going to play the Wurmkin Tome yet. I'm thinking we might play that on an Imp, actually. Shard Soul Carver at the bottom, but I feel like we've got to play Vent, which is annoying for the Wurmkin Tome. And the Perfect Insanity. Well, let's play the Shard Soul Carver. Maybe we just play the Queen's Implings instead. We definitely play a Queen's Impling at the bottom. If we play another one, then you don't take any damage. Right. And then we don't have to play our Vent. Okay, great. That worked out. Shattering at the bottom. That's not what we like to see at the bottom. We do have a Vent that we can play at the bottom, though. So it should be fine. Let's play... I want to play the Welder Helper somewhere. Probably the Welder Helper at the top. And then we play a Fledgling Imp in the middle. Okay. We could afford to do that. So Welder Helper at the top. And then Fledgling Imp in the middle. Doesn't matter which one dies. They're going to be the same once we play them. Alright, now we actually have some Ember to spend. We're going to play the Vent at the bottom. Are we going to play an Imp at the bottom? We could play this Fledgling Imp at the bottom. I like that. Let's do it. Fledgling Imp at the bottom, Vent at the bottom. And move on. We have space for some Imps next turn. One of the things is hard is making sure that you've got space for Imps every turn. Looming Dark Shard in the center. How sad, because that's where I would want to play the Fracture. And the Vent again, probably. How very sad. Let's think about our Imps first. We could play Bounding Echoes first. Play Bounding Echoes first. Bounding Echoes up here. And then we're going to play two imps in the center, the two free imps. Queen Zimpling and Fledgling Imp in the center. We have another Welder Helper. I kind of want to play that at the top. Yeah? Play another Welder Helper at the top. This does mean that we have this Welder Helper that is probably never going to die. So we don't have space at the top anymore. If we play Vent at the bottom, we're going to kill that one. If we play Fracture at the bottom, we're also going to inspire our guy. Let's play the Inflame. I want to play it at the top because... well, you know what? We can play the Hosting Kin at the top. Let's play the Hosting Kin at the top. And then we play the Inflame here. And then we play a Fracture on you, and then a couple of Vents. We don't play another Imp because we need to make sure that we have space for Imps next turn. We are very much running out of space for Imps. So Wurmkin's Tome. I was thinking of putting that on an Imp that had lots of armor, but that's not going to happen. We could put it on the First of Kin, because it's going to have a lot of armor. Guess we might actually do that. And then at the bottom we want to play an Imp. We actually can't gain Ember this turn from Hell's Banners because we can't play two Imps. So we're just going to play one Imp. Which means we can't play Wurmkin's Tome anyway. Okay. In that case, maybe we play a Hosting Kin at the top. And play a whole bunch of Vents. Do we care about playing the Vents at the bottom? I mean, only because you've got 180 health. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. Now, if we play one more Vent here, then both of them will die. Which is what we want, or not? Because we actually want you to go here and kill this Imp. We're going to play the Vent at the top. Take another spell shield off. It's interesting that we want enemies to survive so that they kill my Imps. Alright, we can play two Imps at the bottom this time. That's a good thing. Let's do that. We're going to play Fledgling Imp and Fledgling Imp at the bottom. Now, we don't want to play spells at the bottom, which is fine. We want to play a spell here. Let's play a Vent here. And then Wurmkin's Tome? Give you Fragile? Sure. I don't think the boss is even going to make it up there. But just in case it does. And then we play one Vent here, so that you die this turn. But still kill my Imp. Now we've got two spaces for Imps. Ooh, Shattering Dark Shard in the center is sad. Could we potentially play the Perfect Insanity on the boss this turn? I think we can, but it requires playing an Imp at the bottom first. So we play an Imp at the bottom. Which one are we going to play at the bottom? Both of them are fine at the bottom. Both of them are fine at the bottom. Alright, we're going to play the Queen Zimpling at the bottom. Alright. Now, the fact that we just played the Queen's Impling at the bottom was the wrong plan. Because now I can't get enough echoes for Perfect Insanity. Whoops. Oh well. I'm going to play the Fledgling Imp here. See, what I was supposed to do is play the Fledgling Imp down here, and then save the Queen's Impling, play a whole bunch of vents, and then play the Queen's Impling to get more Ember to play Perfect Insanity. That was the grand plan that I just completely failed to do. Let's inflame you, and then probably double your armor. Actually, we could just double your armor. Alright. 200 armor on the front unit there. Now we just play a whole bunch of vents in the center. Yeah, a whole bunch of vents in the center. And we still don't kill this one. So he still kills an imp. So I like my Sinner Salve here because the volatile gauge is terrible with Scourges, but when they still cost 0, that's kind of nice. So Perfect Insanity, we could play that at the top probably. Again, we'd have to play Imps first, and we'll have to be smart about it this time. So, we play an Imp here. Play an Imp here. Then we go to the... Oh, the Blooming Dark Shard at the top. Okay. Never mind. I would like to play a Fledgling Imp in the center. I would like to play an Inflame at the bottom. I'd like to play... We could play a Perfect Insanity at the bottom. Just don't see the point. Alright, let's just play a whole bunch of vents. We just play the vents at the bottom, because we don't want to play them where the Looming Dark Shard is. And we don't want to kill the one in the center, because we want that to kill our imps. We're only dealing 410. We have a Perfect Insanity. We can play it, actually, this time. Because we can play the Queen's Impling here. And then the Fledgling Imp. Fledgling Imp can go here after we play the Vent. 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 Fledgling Imp. Perfect Insanity. Vent. 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 Alright. We didn't win at the bottom. Which is not really a surprise, but it's one of the first ones that we haven't. We have Perfect Insanity again. Okay. We can play the Inflame. We can play... We can play an Imp. But then we couldn't afford the Perfect Insanity. Okay, so we can't actually play the Perfect Insanity this turn. But what we can play is Imps and win. Oh, Transcend Imp. There's also Impolate. Both of those are really nice, but we've got to take Transcend Imp. I mean, even Reinforce would be good again, but we've got to take Transcend Imp. Alright. Do we want more draw, more space, or more Ember? Honestly, all of them. I think more space will equal more Ember, so I think I'm going to take the Light of Seraph. Remove more cards? What are we doing at Merchants of Steel, anyway? The beefing up the First of Kin? And the Shard Soul Carver, which we never did anything with? Okay, let's go this way. Let's peek what's in here. I don't know when I want to do my champion upgrade. A large stone. Large stone is awkward. We could put it on the Shard Soul Carver. I'm going to upgrade my champion. So if we got Imp Parade 3, we would get Welder helpers every turn. Imperialist is also good because it kills all the imps every turn. Which one of them is better for us? I think both are quite good. Let's take the Imp Parade 3. Get 2 imps every turn. Now... Concealed Caverns next, I guess? What does this one have? A build a card. Well, build a card. We might not take it after we build it, though. I guess a buff over damage? We can... Ooh, we could descend units? How much do we want that? I don't know how much I want that. We could ascend units, because at least then... I'm gonna take the upward arrow. Read an effect that increases card draw, or gold. Well, we're too far along for gold to matter, so we'll take the card draw. Do we take the orb? I think we do. I'm trying to think of ascending units as being a good thing. And it is a good thing, probably. Yeah, it probably is a good thing, but it's a little bit hard. So, artifacts. Spells get an extra upgrade slot, doesn't do much for me. Iron Drop Cage is mostly meaningless. Let's take the Lost Luggage then. First Hell Pact gives 6 damage extra every time we play our spells, and we play them a lot. Okay, we'll take the first Hell Pact. It's not as strong as it could be, but it's fine. The Large Stone. Now that we have a way to ascend units, the Large Stone is not nearly as bad as it could be. I think we want it on the Shard Soul Carver. Shard Soul Carver gets a Large Stone. Okay, do we care about the other stones here very much? Heartstone on Shard Soul Carver? I would do that. Alright, now we reroll. Endless. Oh, we can place that on the Transcend Imp. Alright. Now we just have to be able to play it. We have to make space for it. What else do we want? We should take these. We should at least put them on first of kin, right? Yeah, we should. Alright. First of kin, you're getting a little bit upgraded. Alright. Are we going to spend money purging? Not this ring, but next ring we might. Well? Mark of Invasion? I don't mind a Mark of Invasion. We've got plenty of events in the deck at this point. So, we have a vent. Let's play... We're gonna play the vent in the center before we play Shardtail Queen, I think. Which means we're going to play the Steelworker at the top. Let's start by playing a Queen's Impling at the top. Because it'll kill these two and then be set to die itself, which is good when it has the Ember Drain. Alright, then the first of kin. I think we play the Shard Soul Carver at the bottom this turn. And then we play the Vent here. And then we play the Shardtail Queen in the center. And then we can play a Vent here. And then we don't play the Transcend Imp this turn. Right? Actually, if we play it this turn, it'll come back faster. Okay, we'll play it this turn. It didn't really do anything yet, but we do want it to come back. Now, we have Old Magic to Ascend. We mostly want to ascend you, and we want to ascend you all the way to the top, but we want to play Imps in the center first. Let's play a Fire Chomper in the center. Right? I am going to play a Fire Chomper in the center. Alright, Fire Chomper in the center. Now, you're annoying. We don't have a way to kill you. We are going to play Imps at the bottom and the Old Magic. The Old Magic is going to go now. And then we're going to play a bunch of Imps at the bottom. So, Welder Helper. We're going to play another Welder Helper. Then we're going to play a Fledgling Imp. Fledgling Imps go in front. We're going to play a Queen's Impling. I think we play One-Horned Tome on this Welder Helper. Is that weird? I mean, it's kind of weird, but you have so much armor, and then we might as well inflame you. And then we can even play this other imp down here, which we will. Alright, so we're creating an imp parade at the bottom. Now, our imps need to die in the center. Only one of them is dying in the center. How unfortunate. We need to get you to go to the top again. So, step one, play some imps. I'm going to play a Welder Helper. Oh my gosh. If we play a Welder Helper, things never die. Okay. Well, I guess that's kind of fine. We do want things to die. And we certainly want to play Reinforce on you. It's kind of silly, but of course we do. Now, we're going to play a Vent in the center. We're going to play a Vent at the bottom. And are we playing anything else? I don't really have space to put imps except at the top. We could play this Welder Helper at the top, because that will protect you. This is the Welder Helper that we want to be at the top. We could play the Bounding Echoes. Let's play the Bounding Echoes this turn. And we should play it in the center because you are the one that gets the Inspire. Alright. So, now we're going to play Vents. We play a Vent here. We don't want to play the other Vent, or we do? I mean, the other vent there is fine, but we play this one. And then we need to determine where we play this one. I think because you're here, we're going to play the vent here. Alright. And then we move on. We get our Transcendent back, which is absolutely great. This Transcendent will have an enormous amount of armor on it, by the way. Alright, we can't actually play the Transcendent because it costs too much. It costs too much to play it. If we play it, it's the only thing that we get to play other than Vent. Well, we might as well play it. No, let's save it for a future time. Let's play the old magic to bring you up. Because that's the one that we wanted to bring up. And if we do that, we want to play a couple of imps up here first. So, I'm going to play the Welder Helper up here, and the Fledgling Imp up here. Welder Helper, Fledgling Imp. We want the Fledgling Imp behind the Welder Helper. And then we play the old magic to ascend you. Next. We can play a Welder Helper in the center. Do we want that? We kind of don't. Yeah, we kind of don't. Alright, now we just play Vents. And another Vent at the bottom. Okay, I think this crazy imp deck is working really well. It's just that we're not mastering anything. So, this Fledgling Imp could go in the center. We can't put an imp anywhere else except the bottom. How great. We want this Fledgling Imp at the bottom, actually. And then Fledgling Imp in the center. And then we have Ember to spend on things. We don't really have things to spend Ember on, though, actually. Let's do the Hosting Kin. Just to basically use it. Get rid of it. The Inflame, I'm going to put on you. That has the multi-strike. And then we vent a whole lot of times. Vent, 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 vent. Alright. Our deck is filling up with imps now. So we could play the old magic. I think we do. I think we play Transcend Imp at the bottom. So we want to play old magic to move something at the bottom to the top. How do we do that and retain enough Ember to spend all this? We need to play something here first. So we're going to play the Fledgling Imp here first. Then we play old magic to ascend one of these guys. I guess this one. And then we play the Transcend Imp, which is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Because it gives an enormous amount of range. Holy cow. Alright. I kind of want to Hosting Kin one of my own guys. But what else do we have to kill our own guys? We don't really have anything else. Yeah. We can only ascend things. Actually, that's a reason to Hosting Kin something in the center. Hosting Kin you. Alright, we're not going to play an imp there. We just want to be able to play our Transcend Imp in the center sometime. And we're going to accomplish that by... Actually, we're probably going to win at the bottom, right? We win at the bottom. Our Transcend Imp doesn't even die. Super Imp deck. Let's go. So what would have been perfect to find, by the way, for mastering a card here would be Consumer of Frowns. And we didn't find it. We could take another One-Horned Stone. Seems fine. March of Shields is not bad either, but we're going to take another One-Horned Stone. Force Contamination? I don't know. Kind of like the Forgotten Trade, but the problem with it is it's so much worse with Volatile Gauge. Let's skip these again. And now, what are we doing? I want to remove more cards. Another Merchant of Steel, though? I mean, we could make a couple things in our deck better, technically. Alright, let's go to the right. Mainly because I want to remove more cards. So, Merchant of Steel, what do you have? Another large stone? Oh my gosh. I mean, it's not good to put on anything that is still upgradable. Merchant of Trinkets has these, which are not great at all. The Notice Stone gets activated a lot, but we don't really have many that care about the magic power that much. We do have the Vents, but the Vents doing a little bit more damage. I don't know how valuable that is. I think we probably don't want it. Probably? I don't want the large stone. The battle stone is fine, because I would add that to one of these welder helpers. Let's reroll here. Multi-strike. Ooh. Okay, so if we add multi-strike to a welder helper, it's going to become the welder helper that gets the additional multi-strike. So I am going to do that. Multi-strike on a welder helper. How crazy am I? Now, Merchant of Trinkets. The Notice Stone is fine, but let's reroll. Rage does not decay. Alright. Rage does not decay. We can afford advanced prototype, but who wants that? So, Heartstone. Don't really want the Heartstone anywhere. Let's remove 2 cards. And I think we're removing the Queen's Implinks. Because the thing is, we run out of space. And taking out a couple of Imps at the beginning means that there's less things that are going around in our deck as we run out of space. So, Merchant of Trinkets, we don't care about the advanced prototype. Let's take a purge. What else do we purge? We could purge more Queen's Implings. I think that's fine. I kind of want to purge Hosting Kin, because they're pretty pointless. Let's purge a Hosting Kin. And then I need to figure out whether I'm going to purge a Queen's Impling next. I think I do. Alright. Alright, we've got a relatively small deck. 23 cards. And there's no reason to take Divine Boons. Let's go. 150 pack shards. Now, where are we playing things at the beginning? We're going to play the Shardtail Queen in the center. We're going to play the First of Kin at the top. The Shard Soul Carver goes at the bottom. Yeah, exactly how we normally do. Alright, so Shardtail Queen, First of Kin, Shard Soul Carver. We don't play the One Harm's Tome yet. We could play the Pyre Chopper. I guess we should play it in the center so that Seraph hits that one instead. That also means my Endless Imp gives me more. Alright, so now we just play vents. And we play a vent here, of course. We play... Ooh, you have Trample. Ooh, the Trample is so bad. I did not consider that. The Trample is pretty bad, because my Imps don't really... Why am I playing these vents now? I didn't want to play them against Seraph. Oh man, my Shardtail Queen already only has 2 health. That's pretty bad. So we do have the Welder Helper, which we want to survive. Let's play a Welder Helper in the center, because I think that will be important. Let's play a Fledgling Imp in the center. Let's play the Welder Helper at the bottom. It's going to be the big one. The big one. Here comes the big Welder Helper. So we start with this. Then we play the Transcend Imp. If we play the Transcend Imp, do we play it in front or behind? If we play it behind, you have more armor. If we play it in front, then the Transcend Imp gets hit a bunch, which is much better than this one getting hit. But the Transcend Imp will have so much armor. We want to play it behind. We'll kill it ourselves. Somehow. We will reinforce that massive amount of armor. We should have played in flame first. Whoops. And then... at the top, we play some things. We play Queen Zimpling. Now you're taking 29 damage. We play a Fledgling Imp. And then we play a Queen Zimpling. So we reduced how much damage you're taking by 13, but we also increased Seraph's attack, by the way. Alright, we can ascend things. We can also play the Bounding Echoes. We need to be able to play Imps. We can Hosting Kin this Transcend Imp, which is something we definitely want to do. Do we play the Bounding Echoes first? If we do, we can't play Imps. I think we're going to play 2 Imps at the top first. So play the Welder Helper and a Fledgling Imp at the top. And then we're going to play Bounding Echoes. We want to play the One Harm's Tome, but we mostly want there to be another Imp in front of you, so you're not taking that enormous amount of damage. So we play the Hosting Kin, and then we play this Welder Helper in front. We really wanted to play Old Magic, but we didn't get to. And then we play Vent at the bottom. Okay, so now you're doing great. We will play the one-harm stone on you in a future turn. We almost draw our entire deck every turn, by the way. So, you're dying in the center. Can we stop that? We can definitely stop that with a Welder Helper. Yeah. Let's play a Welder Helper in the center. Great. Now 2 things die in the center, which is the perfect amount to die in the center. Let's play the One-Horn's Tome, right? I mean, we need to play something else first. We can play the Transcend Imp at the top. It's the only place that it fits. We're going to have to kill our own Transcend Imp, but I am going to do this because it just does too many great things at the top right now. Now, One-Horn's Tome. We play that here. You are fragile, but you have 4 attacks every turn. And then, can't quite play Perfect Insanity at the bottom. Now we can play the Vents. Do we play a Vent in the center? We actually don't want to because we want those things taking damage. And we don't want to give Seraph more attack. So let's play the Vents at the bottom. Vent, 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 Vent. Great. Now, we have old magic to ascend. I really want to do that this time. I'm going to play a Welder Helper here. And then I'm going to play this Fledgling Imp here. Now we can ascend you for the first time. Ascend you once. Now that means we can play lots of Imps at the bottom. Fledgling Imp goes at the bottom. The Inflame goes on you. And then we vent a whole bunch of times at the bottom. I think so. Vent, 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 vent. Alright, the bottom is going to become a great thing. We're probably going to use... Let's see here. We're probably going to use our Perfect Insanity to kill our own Transcend Imp one of these times. Which makes me want to play something that gives an echo up here. We can play 2 Imps at the bottom. Let's play 2 Imps at the bottom first, obviously. Play 2 Imps at the bottom. Imp. Imp. And then we are going to have to play a Perfect... or not a Perfect Insanity, a Vent at the bottom. Should we play a Welder Helper too? Not if we want to play an old magic to push you to the top, which I definitely do. Alright, let's push you to the top. Let's play a Vent at the bottom. And let's play... Ooh, you're taking some damage this time because of all of that trample. Well, at least it gets rid of your melee weaknesses, right? I don't want to play any more Vents at the bottom. Play a Vent here. Play this Vent up here twice so that we could play... Or once, sorry. So that we could play the Perfect Insanity later. And we got the Inspire. Alright, great. I feel like my Imp that attacks so many times is doing very well. So, we got Perfect Insanity. We should really consider playing that at the top to kill my Endless Imp. So we will greatly consider that. And the welder helper down here too. Now you're only taking 6. I think that's fine for this turn. So, we want to play an Inflame up here. We want to play an Old Magic up here just really for the Infused. And then we play Perfect Insanity on the Transcendent, so we get it back next turn. Alright. Now we've got Vents. Do we play Vents at the bottom? I'm going to play this vent at the top because it does the Inspire. And then we're going to play this vent at the bottom because we do want one of those to die. We don't really care if this one dies because we've got space. Final wave, and we can do some great things at the bottom. Let's see here. We're going to play this Fledgling Imp, this Fledgling Imp, and then we're going to play this Fledgling Imp, I think, or this Welder Helper. I think I'm going to play the Fledgling Imp, actually. This Fledgling Imp. And then we play the Transcend Imp. Bam! And we win at the bottom. Click end turn and win. Okay. Now for the Last Divinity. Ooh, and we get an extra thing. What do we get this time? We get a Shard of Divinity. Huzzah! Alright. It's not bad. So the top is going to have attacks every turn, which is annoying. Because how do we get the armor? Oh, you know what? We could put the imps in the back at the top. Like, we could put the welder helpers at the back. Right. That's helpful. Alright, so in the middle, we're going to play the Shardtail Queen. In the middle goes the Shardtail Queen. We're gonna play this Pyre Chomper. And now the Transcendent gives me Ember every time we play it, which is great. The Shard Soul Carver is gonna go at the top. This Welder Helper I don't think we play yet, because it's the one that we want to survive very long. And if we play it now, it's going to have trouble surviving very long, I think. Yeah. Don't play this one yet. But if we don't play it yet, how does it actually get much bigger? Do we need to play it? Do we need to play the Shard Soul Carver at the bottom? Okay, you know what? We're gonna play you at the bottom. You get that armor. We're going to play the Transcendent at the bottom. What's happening in the center? You're dying, which is fine. So we play the Transcendent at the bottom to give you even more armor. And then we can... hosting kin our own Transcend Imp. And then play the Shard Soul Carver in front of you. I think that's what we want. And then we can play Event here. We could Old Magic something. I don't see any reason to do that right now. If we Old Magic you... Wait a minute, do we Old Magic you? Maybe we put you in the center? No, because we want you to play... We want to play lots of Imps next to you. Let's play the Vent. We can't play Perfect Insanity this turn. We really need to draw our Bounding Echoes before we can really play that. Okay. So, this turn, there is a One-Horn's Tome here. There's two of them, actually. The Transcend Imp we definitely play this turn. We're going to play the Fledgling Imp here. Where do we play the Transcend Imp? We could play it in front at the bottom. If we do that, we're going to play the Fledgling Imp here first. Fledgling Imp here first. And then we play a Welder Helper here first. Sure. Welder Helper goes here. Your job is to die. And then we play the Transcend Imp at the bottom. We can give you a whole lot of armor, which is nice. And then... Inflame on you? One-Horn's Tome, One-Horn's Tome. One-Horn's Tome. One-Horn's Tome. The First of Kin. Oh, we should play that at the top. We could play the Queen's Impling first, so that it gets the Ember Drain. And then we play the First of Kin. Alright, so we've got things at the top now. Now we play Vent twice at the bottom to kill most of those things. Alright. You're not dying. That's very important to me. Okay, so we have the Bounding Echoes. We need to play Imps first. I want to play an Imp in the center. Let's play a Fledgling Imp in the center. And then I really want to play this Welder Helper at the top, such that it dies and it gives you armor. Next, Bounding Echoes we play at the top. Yep, Bounding Echoes at the top. And then... where do we have space for Imps? We have space for Imps at the top. Do we even want this Welder Helper at the top? I think we do. I think we want it to be in front still. So we could just do that. Guess we will. And then we play the Vent at the bottom. Yeah, we don't want to play it in the middle. Play it at the bottom. You are taking 30 less damage because we did that. I'm planning to ascend that guy soon, so I'm not really worried too much about how much damage he's taking. Not too much. I am some, of course. Alright, so we have our ascend. We're going to play a Fledgling Imp in the center. So you're taking 3 damage. I accept the 3 damage. I don't like you having so much health. We might have to play our events in the center this time. Although, you're a problem. as we know. Let's play this Welder Helper at the top. And then I want to reinforce you. I want to Old Magic you. Let's Old Magic you first. I like that the Transcend Imp is dying. I don't like that you're taking as much damage as you're taking. We can't change that except by playing a Queen's Impling, and that means we couldn't play Reinforce or Inflame. I'd rather play those. Reinforce, Inflame, and then things are just fine in the center except that you have a lot of health, and then things are fine at the bottom except that you have a lot of health. Okay. So I don't like that you have so much health, but maybe we play Perfect Insanity on you? Maybe we play Perfect Insanity on you. Well, we can't do that next turn, and that's when we're drawing it. So we're going to play Perfect Insanity on you, then we play the vents down here. Okay. Next turn, we really want to be able to play Perfect Insanity at the top. That might require us to be very careful about what we play. Or what order we play things. Right, so the Transcend Imp could go in the center for 0. Oh, it can't go in the center because... right. Because we don't have any space in the center this turn. So, we're going to play the Perfect Insanity. We need to play Inflame, Queen's Impling, and Perfect Insanity. Or the Fledgling Imp. We could play the Fledgling Imp at the top. I don't mind that. Fledgling Imp at the top. Actually, if we do the Fledgling Imp at the top, do we even need to do Perfect Insanity? It's still helpful. I don't know, we could get away with just playing Vents at the top, though. So maybe we don't worry about the Perfect Insanity there this turn. We could play a Perfect Insanity at the bottom. We're definitely going to play the Transcend Imp. Let's play some other imps first. So, you're going here. You're going here. You're going here. And then we play the Transcend Imp. Okay, Transcend Imp will have trouble dying. Unless we Perfect Insanity our own Transcend Imp, which I am perfectly happy to do. Alright. And then let's Inflame you. I want to play a Vent at the bottom. So let's play one Vent at the bottom. There we go. Then I want to play Vents elsewhere. The fact that the Shardtail Queen is dying is upsetting. And we can't change it. But that does mean that we don't get any more imps. So our deck is going to be these things. So we're going to be able to play Transcend Imp a lot. Alright, at the top, we play a Vent, and then we play another Vent. Alright. Well, we're going to have a very small deck. We draw all but one of our cards. I think the small deck is really going to work for us too. So, we play... We want to play the Perfect Insanity at the top. So we can do that if we play a Fledgling Imp up here. now we could play the Perfect Insanity at the top. Let's play the Transcend Imp next so we get our Ember. And we're going to put it here to give that front one a ridiculous amount of armor. Alright. And then Perfect Insanity goes to the top to kill you. We have Vents and Old Magic. Old Magic, we definitely want to ascend you. You get less damage per turn at the top than you do in the center. Sure. Sure. Alright. Everything is dying at the bottom except for that back one. I mean, I'm going to play a whole bunch of vents at the bottom. A whole bunch of vents at the bottom. There we go. And now we draw every one of our cards. Especially because our two Endless Imps didn't die. One of them died, but not both of them. Ooh, I really like that you're dying due to the spikes. That's great. And we can't play Imps at the top anymore, so we just play this Imp at the bottom, right? Don't really want to play Old Magic, so Imp at the bottom. Inflame on you back here. You're taking 1400 damage this turn? If only we could play the Perfect Insanity this turn, but we can't. Oh, now we're winning. Okay. Well, we didn't master any cards, but we did get a new crown. And I'll take it. It's just sad that we didn't master any cards. At least we got all of these artifacts here, which is nice. Alright. Another crown? Another crown is good. And, I mean, I've got to get a record that time. Almost certainly. Summon triggers. We beat our previous summon triggers. And we have all of the crowns for Hellhorned Wurmkin. Great. Summon triggers 217. Alright, well that was a great run, except for the fact that we did not find Consumer of Crowns. Because the Consumer of Crowns would have been a perfect minion to Divinity Master in that run, and we didn't get it. On this screen, the top is now tracking which clan combinations I have both crowns in, meaning I've won on Covenant rank 25 with the 2 possible champions. So far, there's one of those. At the bottom, I am showing all of the clan-specific artifacts that I haven't yet taken into 10 battles. There are only 6 of those left. On the right are shown the 4 cards I have left to Divinity Master. We found none of them this run. On the left, I am featuring Transcend Imp, which we found rather late in the run, but completely transformed my deck to defeating bosses solely with Imps. And I found an Immortal Stone right after taking this. One-Horn's Tome is a card that I find hard to use typically, but this time I had 2 of them at the end. Their Ember costs wasn't a problem, due to being randomized. And the unit I played this on had much, much more armor than health. For artifacts, Ashes of the Fallen was amazing, doubling the effectiveness of every imp that I played. What a great run for this one. Petrified Heart was very useful, giving all of my imps 11 times as much health, which caused them to survive sometimes, and simply soak more damage other times. Check out my tracking sheet, link in the video description. New episodes every Saturday, and thanks for watching.